Welcome to New Mommy at 40, a honest, informative, and non-judgmental podcast for those navigating to and through parenthood in their 40s. Today is such a special episode for me. I get to talk to a really dear friend of mine named Toni Strong. She's the other half of Strong Family Wellness, and together she and her husband Earl are personally responsible for my wellness today. She's talking about how to live a purpose-driven life, manifest your wellness journey, and all that she's doing to help moms, dads, and others to be the best version of themselves. But before we get into it, subscribe, follow wherever you're listening to this so you don't miss a single episode. All right, let's get into it. It didn't happen in my 20s. Who cares? Now I've got all this fancy wisdom to share. Hey, I've got this, baby, you're getting the best of me, 'cause I'm a new mommy at 40. Today, I'd like to introduce you to someone very special to me. Her name is Toni Strong. She's someone whose motto is that we are all born to thrive and that we are not here to play small. Toni is a life coach, yoga and prenatal yoga instructor, nutrition advisor, and birth doula. Her love affair with wellness started over 2 decades ago, and now she and her husband, Earl Strong, have created a full spectrum wellness company called, apropos, Strong Family Wellness, and they support and coach busy parents and others who want to get healthier and truly adopt a different way of living. And I'm sharing her with you today because she is someone who knows how to connect mind, body, and spirit to create overall wellness. So here she is. So it is my complete pleasure to have you here because, as I've credited you with in the intro, maybe saving my life is dramatic, but I definitely think I know that you have impacted my life forever with what we've discovered in working together. But hi, Toni.
Hi, Victoria. Although I think saving your life is dramatic for you. Dramatic suits you. Well,
No, that's why I'm not using that. I know I'm dramatic, but I'm not that dramatic to say that. But I do know that the impact that you've made is long lasting. It's just something that will change the course of how I move through my life and my overall health and how it's affected me altogether. So, but before we get into that, so Toni and I met. How did we meet, Toni? How did we meet, girl?
We met at our training for JetBlue when we were becoming flight attendants.
Yes. We were much younger and but I think we've done very well in age and
excellent.
We have.
Yeah.
You don't look a day older than when I met you, really. The only thing that's changed, I think, is that you really started diving into your fitness.
I would agree.
After we've met. Yeah.
Yes.
Like you were shapely, you looked great. You did, it wasn't like you were overweight or anything. You just really you dialed it in, and I started seeing you like chisel into this beast, and I was like, what's happening? What's going on? And then so how long ago after we met did you really dive into yoga?
Let's see. I would say when we met, I had been taking yoga classes, right? So I always felt a little drawn to it. But probably a couple years later is when I became a yoga instructor. Kind of like, took more classes, got serious about it, felt like it was something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I would say that my whole time, like flying, I was into yoga. And really health and fitness, right? So I started to get more and more because I remember working out in the back alleys of the planes. So you know what I mean? So I feel like it's always been there.
Yeah, what she's saying, if you're not aware of flight attendant, or the plane, because all you worry about is just getting to A and B. The galley is the back. It's our domain. It's the place that we very strongly dissuade you from crossing the line while we do our workouts.
That's right. And get your treats, get your snacks.
Yeah, it's like, that's your domain. This is mine.
Yeah.
Stay out of it. But yeah, I remember you kind of getting it in. But so that's how we've known each other since 2007 in summary. But
wow.
I know. Wow. It's flown by. 2007. Wow. It's crazy. But then, so during flying, you met your I wouldn't say better half, because you equally, I think, just really fit each other. You're equally yoked, but you met your dear husband. Yeah. Tell us about him.
My dear husband, Earl Strong. Yes. So I met Earl on a layover in a gym. Okay. So one of my favorite layovers I was doing, my trip was, I think it was 24-hour layover in San Francisco. And then like a 24-hour layover in Boston. And this was my trip. This was my thing. I loved Boston. I was going to the bar class today. I was going to fitness class. I was going to Lululemon. So in Boston, this layover, the Park Plaza, this was my jam. I was single at the time. And I mean, I'm really into manifesting. So I was single. I was like, I love this city. I would love to have a boyfriend here, right? Like, I want a boyfriend. So then I would tell people when I was leaving New York, I was like, oh, I'm going to go meet my boyfriend in Boston. And everybody was like, all right. Until I was like, oh, I have a boyfriend in Boston.
Wait, so you were saying, I don't know that. I know you manifest, but I didn't know you were saying, I'm going to go meet when you told
Boston, me, I'm going to meet a boyfriend. He's going to be in the health and fitness. I had a whole list.
Tell us your list. What else was on your list?
Was into growth, was into health and fitness, was into Eckhart Tolle, like the power of now, being present, and living in Boston, into health and fitness. Those were like my main things. And I was going to find this person. And my friends would be laughing. My family, I was like, see you later. I'm going to Boston to meet my boyfriend. They would be like, all right. And I met my boyfriend in Boston. And I had went out on a few dates with people in Boston. The little flight attendant life, going out on a few dates. And I had went into the gym because I was also had a personal trainer in New York Sports Club because I was living in New York at the time. So I would go to Boston Sports Club on my layovers. So, I'll try to get that in before I was heading back out in the morning. So one morning I had went into this gym and I saw this guy. And you know how we are as flight attendants. There's always a guy and we're just like, okay, come on. So he looks at me and I'm just like, he says, I gave him some sort of look and I just walk off, right? And then I sit down and I'm on the phone and I'm like, oh man, why did I just do that? Because now I see him, right? Handsome guy, what's wrong with me? So, all right, I go about my business. And I would see him, coming in. And one morning he just gave me a look like, either you're going to engage here with me or I'm not going to bother with you, right? So I go to the front of the Boston Sports Club and I get one of the cards and I write my name and my number on it. And he's in the middle of a session and I just go to him quickly and I go, here's my information if you want to take me through a training session, right? And I'm nervous because I don't do anything like this. At all.
But what he did though was spoke your Leo love language, which was like, okay, so are we going to do this? Are we not? And let me say that Tony's also from the Bronx. So that was another all right.
Yes.
He spoke your love language.
So I go give this to him, but I'm so nervous that he says by the time he goes to put his hand out and shake my hand, I'm gone. So, at the time I was on the phone talking to my sister, I think it was. And she's like, girl, giving me a card, like, just like, stop it, cause I'm like, there was this trainer and like, look what I did. But now I'm sitting down like, oh man. So then by the time I had a trip to Boston to Orlando. And by the time I landed, he had texted me. We went out on a date the next layover. And like, that was it, really. So I would see him, I would date him in this trip that I would do, right? Mm-hmm. So say that was the end of May we met, June we were dating on my layovers. And I'll never forget it. He dropped me off to the hotel one night. He was like, this is great. Like, you flying is great. You coming to Boston is great. But like, you need to live here. And I was like, whoa, right? Like, that's a little forward. But he's just like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
So then we were dating on my layovers, and then July was coming up, and for some reason I was taking a vacation, and as flight attendants, we like to not work for a month. And I was like, I don't have like a layover coming up. And he was like, what? Like, how am I going to see you? And I was like, well, I guess I could just come visit you. Like, we fly. I could just like come visit you when I wasn't working. And I came in July, and then I never left.
Wow.
Yeah. I went to his house. He had just got this brand new condo. It was empty. He says it was waiting for me. Oh. And, I remember going to his house and looking around like, I could do this. I could do this. I think, we don't live there anymore, but I did do all those things. Right. Typical me, my visions.
Yes.
And that was pretty much it. So I went there, met in May, dated in June while I was doing all my layovers at the Park Plaza, and then went to visit in July and never left. And then a year and a half later, we got engaged at the Park Plaza, and which is why our son's name is Parker.
I know. I love that.
But that's our story of how we met. So, shout out to being a flight attendant.
Shout out to Mr. Strong for equally having vision. I mean, literally one of the most equally yoked couples that are in my circle. Like, total, they are manifesting beasts together. So it's pretty cool. I like that. I like that you talked about finding your boyfriend, then met somebody, and then almost didn't follow through on what you manifested.
No, because us, it's like sometimes as flight attendants, it's like guys are always trying to get in your face, right? Like, they're always trying, and like, it doesn't matter if they're married or whatever. So you have to be like very like, hey, let me check this out. Like, we have this defensive thing going on right away. But that quickly changed. So yeah, and I mean, he was the same way. He always says like, I was waiting for you. Why didn't I meet you sooner? So we had this very like, and he always says it was like, we didn't have a choice in it. It just happened the way it happened. And he's very like firm about that.
I love that. So now that you had the things in common and things that you were looking for in terms of health and wellness, when did it kind of gel, or, about having strong family wellness? When was that born?
So I would say right before the pandemic happened, because what was going on is like, I was teaching yoga. I was having private client yoga, prenatal yoga, having doula clients, all of this in the wellness space, right? So ultimately I was a coach, whether it was helping you to have a baby or helping you through your pregnancy, helping you in yoga, life coaching, right? I'm a coach. And he started as a personal trainer in the gym. And then when we were married, he took his business solely out of the gym, right? So he has all these training clients that he's working with outside of the gym. He's coaching, he's life coaching. And then right before the pandemic, and then I'm having babies in the midst of this. I'm not really flying. I'm with JetBlue, but as you know, when you have a baby with JetBlue, you kind of like, you get to stay home for a year. Mm-hmm. And so between these back-to-back babies, I'm home. So I have this, business. He has this business. And then the pandemic hit, and it was like we couldn't do both of them. However, we were doing the same things. So we needed to blend where we were going. So at first it started like, a lot of one, we weren't attending births in the hospital or anything like that. So a lot of my even prenatal yoga clients that are having babies, or my doula clients, everything became virtual, right? As our platform. So now I'm having basically a coaching business on the phone and online. My husband is doing his sessions on Zoom. I'm doing yoga on Zoom. He's having his coaching phone calls, right? So we're like operating these two places, and we just couldn't do both.
Right.
And the coaching side of the clients, wanting to lose weight, and coaching in the pandemic, it blew up, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody needed support. So it was more of life coaching because everybody needed support, and this is what we do. And our goal as a family has always been about health and fitness, right? It's always been about like wanting more, but also being immersed in gratitude, but to grow, right? So all these things that we have as a family, like we have such a vision for our family, and we just believe that wholeheartedly. And like we are completely creating our own family, both coming from where we came from. We are like in this together and like working hard. And it just made sense for that to be the next move, to combine both our businesses together. And it's been the best decision ever, really, for our family, for our clients, for our friends. It just works. So I feel like, again, with the vision and putting things out there, the universe will conspire to make things happen for you, even if you don't know what's happening. Because the base for what we are both doing has prepared us and given us both so much experience to make this happen. And it's happening. And, we love it. And we're grateful for what we do and to be able to do it because, and it's not to say, oh my God, we're so amazing, but I do have to say, like, people are changing their lives in our program. And like, you have to be able to sit in that and like, wow.
Yeah.
Right. And I think at the core of it is like, we don't want you to play small. We're not here to play small. And if there's any way that we can help you get that message, right? Because when people are overweight, or they're not living their truth, or they're not, feeling excited about life or excited to get out of bed, it's because they're not aligned with their purpose, right? They're not like finding out who they are, what they need to do, or how to get there. And I feel like we do a good job of like reminding you that you really are here to thrive. We're all here to thrive. We get caught up in our environments.
Yes.
The people we surround ourselves, with how we were brought up, different stories in our heads, different stories that we were told. And we really have to be around people. But we have to be intentional, right? Yes. It's not like, oh, I know this person, we grew up with this person, so let this person just be my friend and we're just here. And it's like, no, we have to be intentional with our relationships in our lives, with the people we are involved with, what we listen to, who we surround ourselves with. These things are important. So if people come to us outside of their regular outlets, and we're able to help them and support them figure those things out and like remind them, like, you are here to thrive, right? Like, your wellness is not selfish. You are meant to be well. And when you're well, you change the people around you. They become well. You change future generations.
Yes.
If I heal, which this journey that we're on together, we're healing, my children heal. And they don't have to do the work of healing for their children because hopefully they will be healed. So I feel like hopefully I'm answering that
Oh
question.
yeah, no, you definitely are. You're preaching,
Right? So
Pastor Toni.
no. So I do feel like finally, right? Because I've been into many things, right? But it's all been this base. It's all been the coaching. It's all been the wanting people to thrive, and it's all been my um, search of growth, right? I've been on this journey of growth, and I don't ever want to not grow, ever. So I'll always be here to support other people who want to grow. And I think Earl is, I mean, you know Earl,
Mm-hmm.
but he is just all about helping people thrive. And he is different from me. So as far as the business, it's like we both have the best of both worlds, what our business needs. You know, he's just easier. You know, he is this very easy flow about him. And he is excellent at meeting people where they are,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
He's excellent at encouraging people and, you know, helping them have that. All right, like some people are intimidated to become healthy, right? They feel like, oh man, I can't move, I can't do this. And he will make sure, you know, he is excellent at the programming side of the business. I mean, I think we're both great at everything, but you know, his background is in sports medicine
Yeah.
and really helping people feel good about the bodies they're in and to help them move in the bodies that they are. Very similar to yoga, you know, me doing yoga. So it's just like, it's just so connected at every corner, what we do together.
Yeah, and I think it's just that you're both, like you said, you both have amazing you contribute very well to your business, but you have some real strengths that both of you bring just naturally in who you are. I mean, because there are personality differences, of course, but they
Absolutely.
work really well because, like I said, Toni is a Leo, and if you know any Leos, fiery and like I'll speak from my experience because we're gonna get into my story soon. Like it's funny because I think sometimes she pairs back just a little bit with me, but I know that she can crack the whip if need be. Like, what are you talking about? Like to the point. She wants to be to the. She's very. You're very kind in hearing someone out. I think over the years you've gotten even better at hearing someone's like excuses. You kind of wait until they are done with giving them, and then like,
I'll give
okay,
you your time.
okay, I
Mm-hmm.
gave you your time, but that's an excuse. But that's called an excuse.
Uh-huh.
um, which you need. I think everyone needs someone like that in their lives to go, I validate how you're feeling right now. However, this is something within your control that you can change. Like you have to think about what you're saying and the words and the importance of what you say, because then you start to believe them. So I think that's where you hold space for your clients and for those who are lucky enough to call you a friend, as I am.
Mm.
The reason why I want to talk about where your passion comes from with health and fitness, I want to kind of share with our friends here how we became a team in terms of you being my coach in this sense, because I didn't know that I needed you in this way. I had you as my friend, and you
Mm-hmm.
definitely were there for me in the ups and downs of the miscarriages. But in retrospect, I feel like now I have this whole vision of you kind of watching from afar some of my posts and listening and going, oh my God, what is she doing? What is she doing? I can help her. This is unnecessary. Has she looked into this? Has she looked into that? And you would send me these things. Um, Not that I didn't. I took everything seriously. But sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when you're in the midst of it, sometimes you don't know how to get out. Like, you appreciate everyone's like information, but sometimes for me, sometimes I just have to go through things, and then I kind of dial in or dive into what people or have told me. I could have saved myself a lot of time, but sometimes, like my daughter, I like to learn by trial by error. But um, so when you came into my life as a coach, what happened is I think I'd gone through the definitely the first round of IVF.
Yes.
I was coming out of that. And Toni reached out and said, I just think you can do this. Like, you did it once before. You can do this on your own. I'm not saying that treatment is not something that some people may need. I'm not disputing that, but I feel like there's so many resources that you just haven't tapped into. And you've got to believe, and you've got to like change. What are you eating? What's around you? Like, really just was feeding my mind, body, and spirit. And she's like, let me help you. We're going to try to help you. You need to come and be a member, be a part of our team, and let's see what we can do. So at that time, I was in this space of like, I'd gained a lot of weight after the twin miscarriage, and then that I hadn't lost. And it wasn't even weight. It was just, I just felt really swollen.
Inflammation, yes.
Yeah, but I didn't know yet. That's why I'm not saying the word.
Okay.
I had no idea what was happening. I just felt swollen. I felt constantly bloated. My things were tighter. My clothes were tighter on me. But the scale wasn't really like going too crazy high. And then it hit a point after the IVF cycle where I did start seeing the numbers going up and up and up. And I didn't feel like I had changed what I was eating, not necessarily from when I was pregnant or before. I just wasn't sure what was happening. So when working with you, you just said, it's inflammation. I think you're dealing with inflammation. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let's just attack it like you are and see if it makes any difference. But you have to trust me. You have to do the work, and you just need to believe. You need to really believe. And so, what did you take me through? Let's tell them what happened from that point on.
So you came on board. The first round was a 3-month wellness transformation that we do. I want to write this down. And when you first come on, you take pictures, right? You fill out a consultation form. You give us tons of information so that we can give you the program that's going to work for you. And for me, again, watching from afar, which is how we do this, right? So when we either work with someone and they reach out to us or we reach out to them, one of the really important things about the program is that you have to be ready. So when you said, you're probably doing this and I'm probably watching, you have to sit back as a coach, right? And know that you're going to probably work with this person, but they have to get ready. They have to because I know I can help you, but I can't help you if you're not ready, right? I can't help you if you don't trust me to know, try this, let's see. And I always tell people, like, just try this and see, because we're pretty confident about what we do and what we prescribe and what protocols we use for people. We know it's going to work, but I need to show you that it works, because once it works and you see for you, now you're a little more committed. Now you're in, and now you're like, I got these results. So started working with you, put you on a food plan to help with your inflammation, gave you a very customized movement plan for where you were, for your experience, and, really worked on food, timing of your meals. And I think that, right away I knew it was inflammation. We get your pictures, we look at your body, we look at what looks like is happening here. Of course, we ask you other questions about your sleep. and how we can naturally just change your circadian rhythm, and like basically how we can get inside of that body to heal inside first, right? I know people, they look at us and they're like, everybody loses weight. Yes, we help you lose weight. The core of our business is weight loss, but really weight loss is a side effect of becoming well. So that's why our umbrella, we are a wellness company. Because we are helping you get well. You are not losing weight by starving yourself. And I mean, you can vouch to this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you won't, most clients say, that was too much food. I couldn't eat that food.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing it inside healing. And I would say, as soon as you started your protocol, limiting food at night, limiting food by a certain time, eating the right foods that work for you, we saw a change very quickly.
Yeah, I remember that it was more so like I felt like I was being sculpted. Like, because even though the number didn't change very quickly, I think we were stubbornly at around the same place for a while, because I also was going through another round of IVF.
Yes.
And I was also finding my way through the program too, where not that I didn't have the intention of doing it with all full heart, but it was kind of like still, okay, oops, I forgot that I was supposed to stop, let's say at 7:30 today, and I ate later. Yeah. It's like, and Toni would be like, okay, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're not gonna, that's not going to yield you the results that you want. But I remember just being felt like, wait a minute, like my waist is thinner. Just inches just started kind of changing. And also I had chronic joint pain that was happening in my ankle, on my leg, and even a rash that I had on my wrist that I had gone to dermatology appointments for, and they really didn't have an answer, and I just stopped having them. But let's take a pause here and explain to our friends what inflammation is and how it affects us in this realm, which are, anyone who's maybe 35 and up, who are either trying to have children or have children. How does inflammation affect the body?
So, before we move to the inflammation, to clarify what was happening to you with your body being around the same weight area, but changing, you were having a body recomposition.
Yes, thank you.
Right. So when we are inflamed, there's different parts of our body that has more weight in it, right? Has more weight, has more water retention. So when you start getting inflammation out of your body starts to change, right? You'll lose that inflammation. Sometimes you'll have inflammation in your face. You'll have inflammation in the gut. And basically, inflammation is a sign that something is not right in the body, okay? Processed foods can cause a lot of inflammation in your body. We'll see people who have like really puffy faces, and like 10 days into the program, it's like, oh my God, I can see my chin, I can see my neck, because inflammation essentially protects you in your body. It's things in your body that your body is fighting. So when it becomes inflamed, it's because it's doing its job to try to get that either infection or just whatever it is in your body out. So lifestyle has a lot to do with inflammation in the body. What we're consuming has a lot to do. When we're consuming it, okay, are we getting enough healthy fats in our body? Chemicals like vegetable oils, seed oils. And I want you to listen closely if you are over the age of 35 and you are trying to conceive. You need to get vegetable oil out of your home. Okay. And especially certain communities, they believe that they are doing something healthy by having vegetable oil in your homes. It's not vegetable oil. They are seed oils and the processes that, so you might get a thing of vegetable oil. When you look in the back, it says soybean oil, all kinds of different seed oils. they are incredibly inflammatory for your system. So what your body has to go through to process these things causes so much inflammation, right? That when you consume other things, sometimes you can't even take in the nutrients correctly. But all these things coming into your body is just like your body is functioning overtime to break down these things that you are putting in your body. They're chemicals. So you want to replace vegetable oils, seed oils, canola oils, anything like that in your house for olive oil, pure olive oil in glass jars, or coconut, unrefined coconut oil, when you're cooking with, on your body, and all those things. Because that is a key ingredient in people's homes. Start reading your food. There's like vegetable oils and everything that doesn't have to be. Things like peanut butter. I would say I'm always like disgusted when I'm in the supermarket and I see things like natural peanut butter. There's nothing natural about having sugar in your peanut butter, or chemicals in your peanut butter. Peanut butter is nuts and salt, right? You don't need vegetable oil in your peanut butter. And we have to just take this time, because brands are not invested in our reproductive system.
No.
They are not thinking that, these things that we are consuming is affecting our bodies. So we have to become educated. We have to seek out people who are, because I get it, some people don't want to do that. And that's why you hire a coach, right? You hire a coach for information. You hire people in the field because it's their thing, right? Like, they're learning constantly. They're being educated. When I am looking to go to a doctor or someone that has a specialty, I want to know that they're fully immersed in what I'm going to see them for. So it's not to say, oh my goodness, you don't know this. But we do have a responsibility to become informed and look for people who are in those areas to help guide you. Because we as consumers are allowing things to happen because we're not informed.
Yeah.
And I know it's like, okay, what's inflammation? But now you're getting into this. But inflammation is everything we consume. It's our beauty products, right? It's what we're drinking. It's what we're putting in our body. It's what we're exposed to. Are you sleeping with your cell phone by your head at night? Do you wear it on your body? All these things you have to become aware of. And listen, that's why you hire people, and that's why you seek those people to help give you that guidance, because it can be the difference of lowering inflammation. Insulin resistance is a big part of like having problem with fertility. All these things that are under the umbrella of our health, you have to find that information, or you have to find those who have that information.
And I'm glad that you brought up the insulin resistance, because as the audience knows, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I have PCOS, which is a common issue with PCOS patients or people with PCOS. And what we did discover, and Toni and I are not doctors, I always give that disclaimer, but we can tell you just in terms of the work that we've put in and that she's poured into me, the inflammation did go down. We believe in terms of that we've got the insulin resistance under control, and we're still working on that daily. And our goal when we started, to be clear, was to kind of support me going through the IVF and the fact that I was having this inflammation, and in the hopes of maybe having a baby. And at the time we were going through fertility clinics and having and going through that process. And then after the second IVF cycle failed, I remember having a conversation with you. I can't remember if sometimes I can hear your voice in the text messages. So I'm not even sure if this was an actual phone call or something you wrote. But I remember something like, okay, we need to, okay, no more of this. Let's just focus and get your insulin under control and the inflammation under control. And if you want a baby, we're having a baby. I remember that's how it's going to happen. And I remember going, okay, so we won't do fertility for another treatment. We'll just see. And also I wanted to get all of that out of your body. However you feel about this, if this is like taboo to you or not, what you can't deny is after going through fertility treatments, all of those medications in your system, your liver has to clear them out at some point. So it is always in your best interest to do some type of cleanse to just start over, to clear it out. And we did that. And
let's back up before you say that, because a lot of people think cleanses are like drinks or
no.
None of this. Just true healing from the inside out with food timing, and just really nourishing the body. But there's no magical quick fixes, no cleanses to make you lose weight. This is just straight up healing your body with food and exercise and a few other things.
And also the importance of journaling. You brought that back into my life, something that I used to do all the time, but I think I've told you, Toni, and I'll tell, my friends here, is that journaling brought me a lot of pain after a while. It was, I don't know why. What happened to me was, I think seeing some of the trials and trauma that I had experienced by my own hand in pen made it very difficult. Like it wasn't real until I wrote it down. Like I remember when my brother passed away in 2008, I was able to tell people, I talked about it. It felt like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm unraveling. But in hindsight, and going back, and I've found a lot of these journals after the hurricane impacted my family in Florida, and was able to go back to them. I'm so thankful that I have them. I'm so thankful that I wrote that. But it was kind of like getting back in the practice of seeing my own hand write something down and how I was feeling. So part of what your wellness program is too is, the power of affirmations, journaling, meditations, as well. It's like the whole mind, body, and spirit. I just wanted to kind of put that there as well.
Yes. No, it's true. What I like to say about wellness, and especially our wellness, especially we have a business, but it's really a calling that we have, right? Like, it's a family business.
It's a calling you've answered.
Right. But wellness to us is a collection of ways to be well. It's not one thing, right? So losing 10 pounds is not really wellness. Having a certain body is not really wellness if in the inside you're not well. So I can't help you change your life or just lose 20 or 30 pounds if we don't make you well inside. And inside could be like your soul, your spirit, your mind. Because sometimes we're struggling with things because we aren't kind to ourselves, right? You don't end up, and a lot of our clients, they aren't like 10 pounds, 20 pounds overweight. Right. They're dealing with different things. For you, it was healing the inside and becoming pregnant. It was healing your inside, healing the womb, becoming healthy. Everybody has a different thing that they're working on, and they lose weight, but they're healing the insides of them. So that's why it can never be about a diet.
Right.
You're never going to change your life on a diet. It's so much bigger than a diet, because a diet comes from your habits, and your habits come from who you think you are. And who you think you are comes from your thoughts inside your head and your personality. So it could never just be one thing.
Right.
Wellness is a collection of ways to be well.
Yeah. And I love how you put it. And I think that is what I was missing in terms of just kind of an all around. And it's funny because if I was talking to someone and another friend, if it was you, I would probably say a lot of the same things that you're telling me. But it's great to always have someone in your corner um, to coach you through having that collection, that toolkit to remind yourself of your purpose and or find it, right? Because a lot of times people don't know what their purpose is. But I find through this process, when you start seeing that you've taken that time to invest in yourself and you're seeing the results, it opens your mind to even more possibilities. What else can I do? Or that confidence, like confidence is a huge thing. I think we underestimate or maybe don't even check in to where's my confidence level right now, because I think that also makes you just want to go and conquer things when you're feeling really confident. And that's why I love in your Facebook group we're encouraged to share our affirmations, and sometimes you come up with one for yourself and then you read someone else's and you're like, I'm
Yeah.
adopting that today. That's
Yes.
that's that's what I meant to say. Forget mine. I like that one better, and I'm taking that, or I'm adding that to mine. Um, but I wanted to highlight what we were actually able to do in creating this toolkit for me. Was that after the second round, we took that break, and without planning, Desi and I, to have another child, we did become pregnant. And even though that pregnancy, as I've shared with the friends here, ended in a miscarriage, that was huge. That was not happening without the inflammation going down, without the
Right.
insulin being, in check, because that was, I feel, really affected. I mean, kind of, it's one of those things. If you get an opportunity, if you're listening, you're hoping to conceive, if you can find out if this is an issue for you, I think it's extremely helpful because it'll help you save a lot of money. Like nothing bothers me more thinking about going through 2 rounds of IVF with inflammation for the most
Right.
part. I mean, because what we should have done, I mean, not should have, you can't go back, right? And this is
Well, it's the inflammation and being insulin resistant.
resistant.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I think you felt pretty discouraged that these conversations weren't happening with the doctors before they started IVF,
Yeah,
right?
but yeah, I really was. But at the same time, this is why I'm so big on advocacy, self-advocacy,
Right,
and teaching
right,
people here, because
right.
through my mistakes, someone else will be more informed to go into
Absolutely.
their next appointment and ask the right questions, because there are medical questions to ask, and then there are questions like, don't be afraid to insert your own personality and your own philosophies in finding out the right person for you. If someone is not even talking about your environment or the foods that you put into your body, or even if they're not talking about it, if you mention it to them and they're like giving you side eye, like,
No, that
just
has nothing to do with
just eat a normal diet, which my recent OB said, and I was
that.
like, I got to get out of here, gotta get out. Like, he was like, I said, so just out of curiosity, anything I should eat? And he's like, anything, should I be thinking about in terms of diet? Normal diet should do. And I thought, it was just, unfortunately, this is around the time that I was pregnant. I'm discovering as I'm in this pregnancy, okay, we're not on the same wavelength. That's not the right time to find that out. So it's
Right.
good through forums like this where someone can be informed to, ask the right questions. So I find our pregnancy, I say it, 'cause it's like you, Earl, me, and
Right.
Desi.
We're all in it. Yes. Yes, we're
our
all in it.
our pregnancy was a really exciting thing in terms of, I think, it was it was hope. It was definitely a hope. But
Absolutely.
I want to, be honest and how you helped me in terms of, we were talking about the collection of things that, make your
Right.
wellness. I was in total fear when I saw that pregnancy test say positive. I was happy, but fear took over. I call it, I don't think it's unfair to say PTSD. I think there are many types of
Right.
where that comes from, but it was definitely of, oh my gosh, I can't take another loss. I cannot take another loss, even though it wasn't yet. I remember you saying, celebrate this. Like, you're the vessel. You like write to this baby right now. I want you tonight. You're going to journal and you're going to write something. I remember, I don't know if I was in tears. I don't know if it was on the phone with you or after.
We were on the
It was
phone.
on the phone. And I was like,
Yeah.
but if I write, I did this last time. And it is. I mean, I'm not
Right.
here to belittle my feelings or anyone else that's been in this, in, a state of loss after, losing a child. I was totally afraid to write that down on paper again because
Mhm.
and then I don't know if I told you this, I went into that same journal because unfortunately, I don't know, I have tons. I just love journals. Like if anyone wants to give me a gift, I
I
love
love
journals. So I have like different ones that I think I finished and I didn't, and then so
mhm.
this one was my pregnancy journey journal. And I turn the pages to find like a clean slate to write to this new baby. And then I pass by the letter I wrote to the twins.
Mm.
And I was just like, I can't believe Tony's making me do this. I don't want to do this. I've never been mad at you. But I remember just going, why are you forcing me to do this right now? Like, let me just sit. I just need to sit. But time is of the essence in terms of your
Getting you
mindset.
right. Yes.
Right. And so I wrote that letter and begrudgingly, and then at the end of it, I felt so glad that I did. You know, it's just an example of, we're not just talking about scales and workouts. It's like, it was a complete, and it still is. I'm still working with you guys. They've been very patient with me. I'm going to be full, like, this is where I'm going to take full accountability. There have just been times I have not been on the ball. I have not. I feel,
I wouldn't say that.
no, well, thank you.
I wouldn't. I would say that.
She's saying that
No,
because
no,
you guys are here. You
no,
guys are here and she's
no, no,
being really nice to
no.
me.
I think that what you came on board for, you received.
I did.
Right.
I did.
You got pregnant,
I
and
did.
it's unfortunate that you know you did have a miscarriage, and I'm sorry for your loss. We all are. But I think what you got out of that was a reminder of your power,
Mhm.
right? Because you had went through IVF, and then you kind of healed yourself and you became pregnant. And I think that there's a message in that, and there's a reminder in that you are capable, and maybe there's more healing to do, and that's what we're working on right now. Um, and I think that now you're in this phase of the program where your consistency is here. And, those months when you first came on, you were doing IVF, you were traveling, you were still doing the program, you still had your healing, you were still doing the work. And I think that you have to remember that, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you did get what you came for,
I did.
right? You got what you came for. And anytime any of our clients who they just become our people, they get what they come for, right? Like they get what they come for. So I wouldn't say that, you've been slacking. I think now you're here. I think you've made some emotional space and you're showing up differently. But you showed up because you got pregnant, and your inflammation went down, you had body recomposition, you felt great, your rashes went away, your joint pain went away. I mean, so you did a great job.
Well, thank you. I had a great coach. I have a great coach. But I'm looking forward to this next phase, and we'll keep you updated, friends here, of what's next in terms of um I'm still going to continue the program and just see, what we decide. And here's the truth. I'll be 45 this year. With no matter, in terms of how I may look and feel on the inside, the age of my eggs are the age of my eggs, and we have that to deal with, but that doesn't mean that I can't try to improve the quality. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but I'm really hoping to conceive naturally again. Now we just have to work on preparing my uterus and my womb to maintain a pregnancy and get some testing done as well. I have that on the books coming soon, of just going and getting some testing, and also getting my husband tested, because male fertility also is a factor. It's not all on us. So thank you for your kind words in terms of what I was able to do. Sometimes I'm a little bit more hard on myself. I'm hard on myself when it comes to just completing things. And I just felt like I could do better throughout the whole time. But I do feel even more in the game. My head's more in the game this round as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do together.
Well, you're so welcome. And I am too. And I think that you are excited and you're more confident because now you know what you're capable of. You know what your body's capable of. You know that you have the tools to heal and to continue to be well. So I am really excited. Earl is excited. Everybody at our Strong Family Wellness, our private Facebook group, we're all here for you. And, we love you right back. And we're looking forward to this next phase of your wellness journey. And we're happy to support you.
Well, I appreciate it. Can you tell them where to find you?
I am at Toni Strong _ on Instagram. And on Facebook, I'm at Toni Strong. And then you will see I have a separate link to Strong Family Wellness. And then you can find me at our website as well. It's just strongfamilywellness.com.
Thank you. Thank you. And I highly encourage anyone that is either trying to get pregnant or currently pregnant to get help along your journey and reach out to the Strongs, because it really makes a world of difference. There's no don't think that it's too late if you're pregnant right now to start on your journey. All of it, any time that you can take that moment to invest in yourself, it will pay you tenfold throughout your journey and after. And what we didn't even touch on is the fourth trimester, which is a doozy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when you really are in the thick of motherhood. So anything that can help you, mind, body, spirit, to prepare you for that and beyond is okay with me. So
Yes.
Thank you so, so much.
One more quick thing I will add. Our business is basically for parents trying to be healthy, because sometimes as we're raising little humans, we don't take as best care of ourselves as we should. And one thing I want to remind you, especially if you have kids and you're listening to this, if you have had a baby, you are forever postpartum. So if things are not back or in the right place or as they should, or you just don't feel great, you don't feel vibrant, you don't feel well or how you should feel, you are forever postpartum. And we help people and parents who are postpartum and need to feel good again, need to be well. So don't forget that. Don't listen to this like, oh, my baby is 5. You are forever postpartum, even if your baby is 30. So there's things that we need to heal inside after having babies, and outside and upstairs in our mindset. So I just want you all to remember that. So don't hesitate to reach out for a consultation or questions or thoughts you have. And we'd always be happy to answer your questions.
Boom. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you for having me.
Wasn't she great? Thank you, Toni, for coming and chatting with us today. For more information on strong family wellness, please visit the episode details. I'd love to hear what you thought about today's episode. Please DM me, or you can email me at info@newmommyat40.com. I'm so happy that you're here. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you not next week. We're taking next week off, but the following week for a new episode. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.